All right, welcome to TT Boy TV. Today we have a very interesting guest, and he's one of the greatest pornographers of our time. Yeah. You know, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it's the truth. So please welcome the notorious Max Hardcore.
Yeah. And thanks very much for inviting me on the show.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And it's great to be here. So let's get right to it.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
First, we're going to take a moment of silence for our fallen comrade, Jim South. That's the 10 count. So Jim South was, for me, you know, a wonderful and a very good friend of mine. And he helped make the San Fernando Valley the biggest porn capital of the world. That's the fact.
Yeah, no question about it. Without Jim South, the porn as we know it would be a very different place.
Yeah, in the valley especially.
Yes, yeah.
But he died on Friday, the 28th at 3:30 p.m. And I wish Jim is resting in peace, and I want the gods better have their arms opened for him.
Oh, I know they do. You know, I don't think there were very few people in our business that were as nice and giving as Jim. He was always concerned about his girls, always helped people when they needed it, and was a leader in our industry. But in a smart way, he really put his own touch on it, and there's never going to be another one like him.
It's impossible,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you heard what I've said before, but I consider our time, pretty much our time, because you're part of my time. I was before you, but still close to the same time. A moment in history and time similar to the Old West, right? Because the Old West lasted, the Wild West really lasted 30 years maximum, right after the Civil War.
Right.
Pretty much 25 years, 30 years. And it was a time when you could be free, wild, do crazy shit, right? Porn was that way, right?
Yes, it was.
And Jim was, who was he in the Old West, you think? He was the general?
Yeah, he was the coordinator. He was the man who got. Without Jim, there wouldn't be porn as we know it in the valley. He got all the girls, and he helped them along, and he made it possible for you and I and so many other good people to do what we wanted to do, to pursue our careers and ultimately entertain the public.
I mean, he helped thousands of people. But if we were in the Old West, because I got a title for you in the Old West, okay? Right? But if we were in the Old West, would he be the general, a general of an army? Because, I mean, he commanded and helped and guided. So would he be a general?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think so. I think Jim would be a general. I see you as a sheriff.
Sheriff Max Hardcore.
No, I do. I see you as sheriff, kind of like maybe Wild Bill Hickok or Wyatt Earp. Listen, but contrary to what people might believe, I've always seen Max as a very direct, serious, solid person. And so that's the kind of person you need protecting your town.
Yes, yeah, you do.
If you were a sheriff in the Old West, Paul, I'm sure you'd have a couple of drinks because that's what sheriffs did, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm drinking that whiskey.
Yeah. Would you be real serious about that town?
When it came to business, yeah, I'd definitely be serious.
I mean, you would have 2 or 3 or 4 other deputies, and I could see you really being serious about protecting the town. Not everybody can do that.
For sure. Most people wouldn't want the job.
You're gonna get shot.
I did.
No, but could you be the sheriff?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to be the sheriff, and inspired me. People came in with the attitude that anything goes, and it was just a party time. And people are coming in, and when a girl arrives drunk on a set, and I said, "What the fuck are you doing?
She's going to jail."
You're going to jail." Yeah. So I would have enjoyed that job. Yeah, definitely. And it was wild. I mean, there was a lot of players out there that were just treating it like a party, and steal everything they can. And
Right? It's like the Old West kind of, right? A little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think I would consider myself, I'd be a gunslinger.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You were the badass guy. Nobody would fuck with TT Boy if in the Wild West. They would avoid you, because they know that they're going 6 feet under, as they say.
Yeah, it was, especially in my younger days.
Yes. Yeah, you were a dangerous guy.
I'll be looking one way or another. If I can't beat you up or gunsling you, then I'm going to sideswipe you. Whatever. Anyways.
Yes.
I've known Max since 1992. And you just told me that you started in 92, and I had guessed that. But this is I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious. Matter of fact, Tiffany Shanahan, wondered. I was talking to her last night. She goes, "Where's Max from?" Right? Because you might have told people, but I don't know. Can you tell me where you're from?
Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin, in a small town between the cities of Chicago and Milwaukee. There's a city called Racine, and I grew up there. It's a French city, and is really cold, as you can imagine. And the story I like to perpetuate, it's not exactly true, but it's close enough, is that I got out of Racine, Wisconsin, just as soon as I could figure out how to hot wire a car.
Really?
Yeah.
How many people? What's the population?
Stole a car and got out of there, and that's half true. That's half true. Guy only gave me half the money for the car. So
Really?
I said, "The son of a bitch." So I stole it back from him.
Really?
Yeah, and then we headed down to Key West, Florida.
All right.
Yeah.
What was the population of that city?
We're about 100,000.
Okay, that's super small, but small enough.
Yeah, it had a nice downtown. I mean, I just didn't see any reason to stay there. It seemed like a dead end at the time. There was only really, do you want to go work at J.I. Case, or do you want to work at the Bracera Series factories? And I didn't want to work at no factory. I did work at a factory for a while, and I said, I got to get the hell out of here before this kills me. And I was fortunate that I dreamed of going to a warmer climate. So initially, just a short story, is first to Key West, Florida, and spent about 10 years down there during the 80s. And that was pretty cool.
That's the cocaine time, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Did you do any cocaine?
Oh, shit. by the truckload.
Really?
I know. I never was that much into it. But what I did was, we would go up to Miami and go see the concerts and the ball games of the Dolphins, and we'd see concerts. And I remember seeing a presentation by Pink Floyd, and it inspired me because it was such a theatrical presentation at the time, and I would say it's probably about 1988. And I said, wait a second, I can do this. I can make theatrical presentations like that. So, by the way, through one person or another, I met Bobby Hollander, who was a real legend in our business by himself. And Bobby gave me my first shot, introduced me to Jim South.
In Florida?
No, I met him when I got out here. I had no connections when I got out here.
All right, so let's hold on then.
So one thing led to another, and I was talking to a fella, and he was talking to a fella, and then Bobby Hollander got into the mix, and He says, "Hey, Paulie, you know, because of my real name."
But this is in L.A. or in Florida?
In L.A.
So hold on.
Yeah.
In Florida, what were you doing for work?
I was in the construction, and I just started getting into photography and video, and at the time, you remember the big video units that you had to have a camera plus a video box to record with, you know, the old
big betas.
The big betas, you know, it was heavy duty. And I had a friend that was working at electronics store, and he would let me use it, and I would pick up the babes down at Sloppy Joe's or Captain Tony's or down at the Pier House, bring them back, and I'd have the camera set up in the room, and you know, she'd say, you know, what's with the camera? I said, you know, you're so pretty, I just want to take pictures of you. So then we
Miami.
In Key West.
Key West.
It's at the end of the Keys, about 150 miles from Miami. And
down that big stretch, right?
Yeah, down that stretch, a little chain of islands, and we. So I learned how to videotape girls, and
that sounds interesting.
Take photos. Yeah, I'd go take them out to the beach and take photos of them, and met a lot of interesting girls down there. And
but you were getting their naked pictures?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck?
We were you know, and when I get them back to my place, we were doing the boom, boom, boom. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Pretty girls too?
Oh yeah, and a few ugly ones thrown in for good measure. No, you know, a 21-year-old boy, he's not too.
Oh yeah.
You know.
You were 21 in '88?
No, I was. Let me see. At 56, 66, 76, 86. I was 30, 31, 32 at that time. And so I met the girls, and so there were so many girls coming down there that some of them would pick me up, and so we would take them back. I would take them back to my place, and with the brand new video gear, I would film them.
So the girls would pick you up, so you're like hanging out.
Yes.
So you kind of were going to fuck anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, if things were good, you know.
Normally, hanging out, you know, hey, baby,
Yeah, you know, smoking a joint, doing a couple of lines and stuff.
So, yeah, you're getting in the mood. So then you got the camera, so you're like, go ahead.
Yes. And she says, no, well, don't show my face.
Really? We heard that before.
I heard that before. And then, you know, I couldn't release them anyway because I didn't have a model release or any of that shit. So it was just for personal use, but it got me, it was like a calling card for Bobby Hounder, and Bobby's looking at him.
Hold on. I want to hear more about the girls. So,
okay.
You know, the girls, you know, because this is a little before, you know, the porno was so out there. We know, because in the 80s, it was still very quiet.
Yes, yeah, it was quiet. At least I didn't know much about it. I knew it was coming out of New York, and I would go. We had a porn shop right there in Key West, and right on Duval Street, and I would go down there and get videos. And I think I've seen a couple of yours, and John Doe, and you know, the guys that really. And Tom Byron too, of course.
Tom's a good actor,
a real, you know. And I said, God, these guys are, you know, fantastic. They're living the dream, you know. And I never thought I would be able to do that, but when I found out how easy it was,
but I want to hear about the girls.
To separate the girls from their clothes by using a camera.
Really?
Right? Well, yeah. They really want what they wanted. What they want, I think, and this is universal, and it's still going the same way. A girl just wants verification that she's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, every girl is pretty in different ways. A little skinny, a little heavy, face. You know, prettiness is not necessarily in you know, being picture perfect. You know,
the spirit.
It was the spirit. It was the easy smile. So I met these girls, and I would always gravitate toward the girls with the pretty smiles, the easy smiles. And, it was pretty easy to meet them because that was the destination. They were there, they were just waiting for something to happen. They were waiting.
In Key West.
In Key West.
'Cause that's the pickup place.
Yeah, they came down from the north, and
They want to fuck.
and they want to fuck. Yeah.
But here's what I got to know. This is because I know about shooting, obviously, right? But this is my point, is that porno is still fairly underground. In 88.
Yes.
It's out there, but you have to go into a video store and be quiet and cool and careful, kind of, right?
Yeah, well, it was more wide open down there.
Down there.
Yeah, they didn't give up.
Okay.
Give
But
up.
normally, for
Normally,
a lot, especially in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, you couldn't talk to your parents about
Right.
it.
In Wisconsin, probably before you left, finding porno is probably impossible. Hard in that little city.
Yeah, that would be true.
Right. So you go and you get these girls to the hotel or your house, whatever.
My
right?
house,
Your
yes.
house. You get the cameras going, and I'm guessing that camera and the excitement of taking their clothes off in front of a professional camera, getting it moving, made their pussies fucking drip.
Yeah, they were it really excited them.
I mean, they were just...
Instead of hiding it, I brought it out and I used it as a tool to say, you're so pretty. I want to start. And I'd start by taking some pictures, pose, sit up straight, arch your back, like the real models do, stick the chest out, bring the tummy in, and you're beautiful. Look at you. Look at that nice hair you have, And I meant everything that I said because I thought they were pretty. And anybody who's willing to, jump in the sack with me is definitely pretty. At least I felt that way.
But I'm all about the wet pussy, right?
Yeah.
Big fat wet pussies.
Yes.
But I know from experience that camera, and
It gets 'em.
and by yourself. But point is, in those days, it's even more mysterious. So the girls are probably going to be even more excited. So I'm just guessing. Were they just dripping?
Yeah. Some were really nervous, and there takes all types. But the girls who really wanted to fuck. I remember this girl. She came down from that we called P-Town, Provincetown, Rhode Island, and it's a pretty well-known party town. And she came down with her parents, and of course she couldn't wait to get out of her parents' house. So she comes up to me at the bodega down the street right on Whitehead. And so I'm sitting out there having some coffee and stuff. And she says, do you want to smoke a joint? I said, you're not even old enough to smoke. You little brat. She says, I sure am, And I said, okay, So we're sitting out there, we're blowing a joint because Key West was like that. Even though it was illegal, they didn't give a shit, really, unless you had pounds and pounds of it. No, it's people smoking on the street, So we're smoking a joint, and, she's like all over me and starts kissing me. And I said, let's have a party.
Oh, God, what a dream, right?
Yeah, and she's young and tiny and beautiful, and it's got this wonderful face and just
horny
as hell. She's so sexy, her pussy, like I'm rubbing her pussy on a bench outside the bodega, right on
just
the
met her.
street. Yeah, I'm kissing her. And in porn we never kiss girls.
I did.
You did.
Yeah, I love kissing girls. Yeah, but yeah.
I like kissing girls too, but generally speaking, you can fuck them in the ass, but just don't kiss them.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I love kissing, but I always try to make sure. But I understand what you're saying.
So this was just one perfect example. So then what got him was I got a little wardrobe. Okay, so I brought back this girl from Provincetown who was visiting with her parents and renting a house, and she couldn't wait to get the hell out of here. Because when I went over to pick her up, and I'm kind of nervous, like, okay, but they didn't worry about shit like that back in them days, you know?
You're right. Let it be known. People liked each other, and a lot of people, in my opinion, were fairly on their own.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
So I pick her up, and her parents are like, you know, Dad opens the door, he looks in, and come on in. And she's bouncing around. Where's my shawl? Where's my bowl? You know, where's my bowl? Come on, man. Yeah.
Did you say the father?
The father, yeah. She's down there with her mother and father, and her little brother. And so I go over to pick her up to take her out. You know, we're gonna go down to the Strand, and there's a party going on down there, and so we go out, and they couldn't wait to get her out of the house. Hey, don't call us, we'll call you. You know, because you listen, she's a brat. You know, But with me, she was cool. You know, and
a blonde or
no, brunette. Yeah, nice gal.
You remember her name?
Yeah. She had a very strange name. It was called Shiva, like the goddess. It's an Indian goddess of love or something like that. And let me tell you, she was a goddess, all right.
Really?
Whoa, yeah, soft.
I kind of wanted to be out there.
Pussy was
really?
like, man,
that's
just
the
like
best.
I'd take my hand away and like the whole hand is wet. You know,
let's face it. I want people to know, and if they didn't experience, a lot of people did, but sliding, talking to a girl, kissing her slowly, right? And then taking that hand, sliding it down her pants,
yes,
through her sweats or jeans or whatever, touching, and then getting to the magic spot and it's dripping wet is probably one of the best experiences of someone's life. Man, for men. Maybe even girls, since girls like girls. You go there, you go, oh my gosh.
Especially the first time.
She's excited, right? You're like, oh my God, it's like something happens to the chemicals in your brain. Everything starts firing, right? Like,
right.
We're Roger, Spain, what do you say?
And then your equipment just,
yeah, that's the best, yeah.
Yeah, and back in them days, I could go 2-3 times in an evening, It was great. So she really loved being in front of the camera, so I dressed her up, I put her in high heels and stuff, and she'd walk around the house just in her high heels, and she'd be all. Then she started putting on more makeup, and
so this was an ongoing thing.
Yeah. They were there for about a week, and then I invited her back, and she flew down on her own that time.
Oh, that's great.
And the parents were just happy as hell to get her out of the house.
Really? And they knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, come on. This kid.
People didn't care back then.
I might I should look like a wolf, Is Shiva home,
She was great. That sounds good.
So that's how I got my start, and took it from there.
Back to Wisconsin. The only thing I thought I heard about Wisconsin, they only had cheese and bacon. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, and Green Bay Packers too.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, they like, it's a German, northern Northern Europe, the Dutch.
Oh shit.
The Germans, the
colonized there. Huh?
Yeah, the people from Netherlands, and quite a mix, and it was it's intensely cold, and back then it snowed like hell, and I said, just because you're born someplace doesn't mean you got to stay there. I'm just a phone call away, and everybody else I knew stayed there, but I was just the one guy that decided it's time to leave, and so I got a girl named Sarah Spencer, and I built the back end of a truck to make it like a camper, and we headed down to Key West. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Pretty girls. The girls. So you have a nice personality. So was it easy for you to pick up on girls?
Well, yeah, sometimes. It's just a matter of opportunity. If you're busy all the time, no. But I made myself available, and I was going to school, and so there's quite a pool of good-looking girls that I went to Gateway Technical Institute out there, and then the University of Madison. And, the girls are all over the place. And as we know, college-age girls are boom, boom, boom.
Huh? All right. How many girls did you bang in college?
Oh, who knows?
No, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, more the good one. The ones I remember are the good ones. And the bad ones I just discard. And
you fucked them, but, just forget about them.
Well, yeah, if they didn't have that nice attitude, it was all about having fun. Me, I decided there's two ways to live. You can pound it out and not have any fun, and that's kind of like the Wisconsin way of doing things. Keep your
keep moving.
Yeah. You got a job? Yeah, I got a job. Well, so you're making money? Yeah, I'm making money. And it's like, are you having any fun whatsoever here? And then very few people were having fun.
So you're saying it's almost like Nazi?
And they were also getting drunk. No. They're just dull. All the joy had been sucked out of their lives, And I'm looking around and I'm seeing these joyless people. And don't get me wrong, some good ones too, but a lot of joyless people that just feel like life is over when you're in your mid-20s, there's no hope. You're going to go work for the factory, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't enjoy that. I wanted to do, I wanted to have fun, and I wanted to have fun all the time. And it's a matter of attitude plus opportunity. And I made the opportunity by taking that step and getting the hell out of there as soon as I could. And Key West was cha-cha-cha, I mean.
But you were already fucking girls in college.
Oh, yeah.
So, give me a roundabout number. 50 girls in college?
At least, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
100 maybe?
No, I don't
50,
think that many.
50?
Yeah, upwards of 50.
2 years of college? 4 years?
Like 3.5.
4?
Yeah.
That's a lot of college.
It burned me out, It's just like, oh, fuck, do I really want to do this? And I decided, no, I don't. I want to be in the movie business, and I want to make something. See, as one thing I learned is to build things, and I wanted to build things that would last a long time. And there's no better thing to build than a movie, because it's going to, first of all, it gives joy to a lot of people, and it's going to last a long time. And if it's a good movie, then it can actually change people's lives for the better. You take It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy
Stewart?
Yeah, Jim Stewart. That was a beautiful story that everything was going good, and then it all went into the toilet, and then he found out that what really counts is love and happiness, and he pulled out of it. And so I wanted to be happy. I didn't want to, even if it meant not making as much money. And I had no idea going into this deal with Bobby Hollander and Bobby Genova, that at LBO, that it was going to work out. It was a day-to-day situation. And if you've ever worked for Bobby Genova, that son of a bitch, and I say that in a good way, tough motherfucker to make happy. But he taught me good things. So that's the direction I wanted to go, and that's where I went.
Back to before we leave Wisconsin, I like to, get out of Wisconsin in a second. Mm-hmm. But so you were kind of an intellectual a little bit because you went to college. That makes you an educated, a little bit intellectual, right? Not 20 years of college, but still way more college than I have. So were you in school? Were you a good student?
Yeah. School was fairly easy for me in most things, as long as I put in the effort to study. It was no problem. In fact, it seemed kind of simple to me that I didn't really look at them as courses, but it taught me a lot about organizing my thinking and especially with mathematics, learning how to put things together, and to me it was a good experience, but I didn't see any point in finishing it out and getting a degree. I knew I could go back later if I wanted to, but I didn't want to be living in Wisconsin. I didn't want to be in an engineering department drawing up blueprints for the next greatest front end loader.
For cat or for case?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So this is the part. I'm sure, I don't know if you've told people before. Some of these questions might be redundant, and forgive me because I don't know the question that you've answered in the past, because Max has had a lot of interviews. So when was the first time you had sex?
That's a good question. Okay, high school. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, high school. One forgettable blonde. I could have. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. It never is. The first time you do it.
Mine was great. Yeah,
but you don't really know what you're doing unless you watched movies. Now, we didn't have any movies to watch.
I pounded a girl out for 4 hours my first time. I was 12. But anyways.
I believe that. Yeah, you can go a ways. You always could go.
Yeah. It's in the blood, I guess, whatever. But back to you. So 9th, 10th grade, whatever, 15, 16, something like that?
Yes.
And so did you start getting a lot?
Oh, yeah, probably around 15. 14, 15, something like that, yeah.
After that broke your cherry, did you start hunting them down?
Well, then once I seen that the girl... See, it's so fucked up that the thinking is, and I'm sure you've encountered this at some point in your life, that the sex was wrong before marriage and stuff. You're supposed to wait. So, like, they don't teach you how to... That women want it. Only cheap whores want it. I know all girls want it. Yeah. And it's not, you don't have to be a cheap whore to want it. So then after that, when I realized, hey, we can be happy. We don't have to hide this shit. We can be happy. And then there was just a chain of girls, like a real nice one was Eileen Strachey, who could do the Chinese splits on my Johnson.
That's beautiful, yeah.
Right? And so many nice, wonderful girls that I met. And once you have that, sexual relationship, it becomes, you take it to the next level, and then you can breed more happiness into your life.
Or more sadness.
Yeah, well, girls are coming and going in any case. But,
and when you like them too much, then some shit happens.
I just look at it as the natural evolution of a relationship. Men, women are not programmed to meet at 17 and split. Spend the rest of their life together.
Only if they're in like 1000, AD, because you live to 30, right?
Right.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to get as much pussy as I could.
So you didn't fall in love with any of these girls?
I fell in love with every one of them.
Well, you're too smart to fall in love? Really?
No, I just looked at it like... I love you, but to me it meant something else. I just wanted to be your friend. I don't want to commit to what I know is going to lead to unhappiness.
That's brilliant. You knew that?
Well, I figured it out at some point. I could
early.
Yeah, early. Yeah, I mean, while I was still in high school.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, when you look around, and all these girls are pretty in high school. They're first of all they got to wear short skirts, so you're seeing a lot of leg, which you never see. Because I went to a Catholic high school, so you never see that in public because they all wearing pants. The only time they wear a skirt is when they go to school. So I saw all these girls.
That
and I
make you
said,
crazy,
yes.
right?
And I'd go up and I say, you look really good. You want to go out, and just like my brother told me, my older brother told me this. He says, I said, how do you ask a girl out? He said, yeah, you just say, come on, let's go out and have a good time. It's that simple. He
Pretty
says,
simple, yeah.
it's that simple. You just ask them straight out, but always compliment them. And because everybody loves a compliment.
Yeah.
So I would say, you look pretty. I think you're interesting. And I would like to go out with you. So why don't we go see this concert down at Memorial Hall this weekend? And she says, well, I kind of got a boyfriend. I said, well, I just want to be kind of a boyfriend too. So let's go. And make some jokes with him, and nothing loosens up a girl, better than complimenting them and saying some funny things, like when we're taking photogram on the set, we're always talking about how pretty they are and also making jokes with them, like I'll be talking about my dog, or I'll be talking about the last girl that fell into the pool, and so forth. And you just get them to laugh, and then you can get some really magical shots, right? Especially with the girls that we use that are very new and they don't know how to pose. So bringing it out of Wisconsin, I learned that there's a lot of girls in the world. And this is just I'm just in one small little island. And it's not such a pleasant place to be because of the weather, primarily.
So you knew you fucked some girls in high school.
Yes.
But because you said in high school, you said, I'm not falling in love with any of these girls because I'm getting the fuck out of here. It was in your head?
Yeah. Well, in a way, it's kind of selfish, and I'll be the first to admit it, that I used a girl to get what I wanted in this regard. Like, I wanted to go down to Key West, so I got this girl named Sarah Spencer. And she was good, and we were boyfriend, girlfriend for a while. And did I love her? I know I liked her a lot. And I said, so let's go down to Key West. That's just the extension of a big date, And she says, sure, and couldn't wait to get the hell out of there, too. So we hopped in my truck and just headed on down and really made a lot of friends down there. And then decided, wow, this is really great. This is really interesting stuff that I want to experience, and I did.
You made the right choice. So before you meet Bobby Hollander, I want to know the stats. I'm about numbers, right? Because you got some girls. I mean, you seem like you had a mind that's intellectual enough to get what you wanted, because you did.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. Not everybody leaves their city, takes off, goes to Florida, fucks everything in sight, right? And then, starts shooting porno already, you know what I mean? Before it's time. And then you go to LA, right? Not everybody gets lucky enough to have those beautiful things happen in their life. Mainly because they don't go for it. And your mind is closed, I think.
Right.
But how many girls did you fuck before you got into porno?
Okay, so let's say, I want to say maybe 30 at most, maximum in high school.
30 in high school?
And then things loosened up a little bit when the older we got. The girls got more independence, so I lost count in college, but basically fucking every girl, and I don't know what it was. So I would say exactly. I couldn't give you the number, but I would say closer to 50 in the 3.5 years. And sometimes they were just make-out sessions and, jack off, and stuff like that. And other times it was all the way, all the way to fourth base, baby.
I want to bring that up because you're a fourth base guy. You're a home run guy. That's fourth base before, right? But so that's 80, but then you have Key West, which is like a gold mine.
Yeah, that we met. Well, okay, it's a little more complicated down there because it's a small city, but it was complicated by the fact that the girls down there, they were like eclectic, I guess is the best way to put it. Like to all the way to downright strange. But the girls that came into town, you'd have to really hustle to get them because they were only there for a couple of days. And so I would say in 10 years, let's say 80 year, 80, maybe. Okay. Anywhere from 50 to 80. Okay. A high side of 50.
You're working for it, though.
Ooh, you got to work. You got to get out. You got to get out, and you got to work it, and really make it. You only got the way I figured it then, and I still figure it the same way. Is you only got one chance to make a good first impression. Yeah. So you got to get them smiling. If you don't get them smiling within the first minute, you've lost them. Yeah, I'm convinced of that. And it's hard to reel them back in. You don't have to be the best looking guy, but you got to make them feel like they're the best looking girl. And that's what I did.
That's smart.
And I got pretty good at it.
That sounds really, like the right move. I know when I was younger and I used to make the girls laugh, it was over.
Yeah, right.
I was in great shape, always buff and, in good shape. So it was easier because girls would smile at me, you know what I mean? But I don't know how you look because I wasn't, in there in the
I was
80s.
never like you, but I was, it's just okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you got 160, maybe 200 girls before you hit porno.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'm ready for Bobby Hollander. So where did you meet Bobby Hollander and how?
Right. My brother Mark owned some stores in Wisconsin that sold lingerie, gifts and gags, novelties, and a few videos. So
Did I meet your brother? Is that the one brother?
Yeah, my older brother Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Not the little guy. Not my one.
He looked older than you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm older than him, but he was my older brother Mark was dealing with the companies out there, Russ Hampshire and
shit,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, all these guys. They would buy and stuff, videos and lingerie, gifts, gags, dildos.
Russ Hampshire's was the owner of VCA, Video Company of America, and he had a great company and tons of thousands of titles. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, he was a great guy. When I finally met him, he was down to earth and really nice. But
he passed last year.
Yeah, I know. And God rest his soul. He was a good man, and I don't remember exactly how it happened, but eventually, shortly after I got out here, I was introduced by way of my brother to Bobby Hollander.
Why did you come to LA then from Florida?
Because I wanted to make movies.
Okay. Porno movies or regular movies?
Porno movies. I was ready for whatever came. Yeah. But I just knew that I wanted to make movies.
Between me and you, that's a big thing for me. I love movies.
I love them too.
I love movies. All good movies. And you're right, they're so powerful, and I'm always have been infatuated with movies.
Yeah, and they can really leave a person with a good impression or a bad impression, And back in the 90s, we were making more story-driven movies, especially with Russ. And and then came the vignette pieces, because we kind of went forward and backwards with that, and I'll explain in a second. But to know how I met Bobby, I was taken out there, and there was Peter Davey, Bobby Hollander, and they both work for Bobby Genova at LBO.
I work for the company.
Okay.
No, I was being
Everybody worked for them guys sooner or later.
I did the La Bamba, La Bada, or whatever that dance that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
I did one of their movies. But I did a few movies, of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
I like Bobby Hollander. He was cool.
He was like wide open, and he was one of the biggest
cocaine.
but cocaine sniffing party animals that I know. Him and Ginger Lynn, right?
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They partied heavy.
Together, you're saying they partied together?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I never seen them.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you what I know, what I've been told.
Okay.
But I knew Bobby, and he was, his chain smoking motherfucker, and
New York guy.
Yeah, New York guy, and
connected with every old school guy.
Bobby, he took a shine to me right away, because what Bobby liked is Bobby didn't want to have to do too much work, right? He wanted to have his time for the partying. And so if he could get a new kid, he knew he could train him how to make a porno movie, right? So he had a series at the time called, what was it? America's Raunchiest Home Videos or something like that, right? Kind of like the America's Home Videos.
And this is 1992?
Yeah, 92, right.
92, okay.
Yeah. And he had breastworks. He was really into bums and breasts. And he wanted other people to shoot it. He didn't want to. So he would just give me like general direction, and then Peter Davey would tighten it up and say, this is what we need, this is how many minutes we need, and this is how you do it, and for our purposes. And so I learned, I had these coaches that were working for me, and then I had the ball buster, Bobby Genova, who would come in and take a look at my chromes, the slide pictures, and he would look at them, and he'd always inevitably have a cigarette leaning out of his mouth with this much ash on it, and he'd lean over like this, so it was hanging down. He'd have the loop in his hand, and he'd say, "This is crap. This is total shit. What am I going to do with this crap? I can't do anything with it." And he'd walk out of the door.
Really?
Yeah, and then Bobby Hollander would say, Paulie, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. I'll smooth it over. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. And he always did. And I got my check.
Really? Were the chrome shitty?
Yeah, they were total shit.
Okay.
And because... Okay, because we didn't have enough light. We didn't use enough light on the set. Okay, nobody did. They'd use as little because you want to keep it cool in the room.
But let's face the facts. In those days, people won't know because it's a digital world.
Yes,
we're talking about 35 millimeter film, and
it wasn't sensitive enough.
Pretty much, unless you were a real professional photographer, right, and knew how to adjust the lights, the strobes, everything perfectly, you would get your film back and go, "Oh my God, it's fucked up. It's fucked up." Well, you got one picture out of 100.
Yeah, right. And it was just by chance. So what we did, we didn't even use flash at the time, except for the pretty.
Oh, that's bad.
What the pretty girls?
That's bad.
The pretty girl shots, the box cover shots were taken by Brad. I can't remember his name.
Brad Willis or somebody.
Yeah, Brad Willis. Yeah.
Vivid, it was with Vivid.
Yeah, so he would take the box covers at a studio, and then we would take the production stills on the set, hardcore shots. Yeah.
But you didn't tell me. You kind of told me, but you lost it. How did you meet Bobby?
Okay, well, I was introduced by my brother Mark.
Where?
in the valley. He went out there to place an order for some videos and some other crap that they were selling, and he said, "This is my little brother, Max, and he wants to make movies too." I says, "Really?"
Max, no, or
Yeah.
Paul.
Paul, my real name.
The Max doesn't happen until we're gonna find out.
So he said, "Oh, you want to make movies, huh, kid? Okay, I got a job for you."
You're 30. You're 30.
Wait a second.
You're 32, 33.
Yeah, I was maybe 34 at the time. Okay. All right, for my first movie. Oh, wait a second, I was 35. Yeah, so I get. He puts me on. He says, "Go shoot some tits." I said, "Okay, I'll go shoot some tits." I said, "Wait a second. Where am I going to find some tits?" And so he says, "Well, you go see Jim South, the agent. He's got tits." And I said, "Okay."
So I'm confused a little bit. He says, "Here's a camera. Go shoot some tits," or
no? He said he wants me to make scenes for this series he's got called Breastworks.
Okay.
And his title, and he'd get stuff from me and from Rodney Moore and different people, and he'd compile it into a vignette, to have 4, 6 scenes in it.
So he just says, "You want to make movies?"
Yeah, and he says, "Yeah, I can show you how to do it." And
he had all the equipment for you?
No, we were renting the equipment from a place in the valley, in Burbank. I can't remember the name of it, but it was just a rental house, right? And then we went to Hollywood Rental, and my guy got set up over there. And so we were renting at first, and then we started buying, And as we were making the movies and making money, we would buy the cameras and buy better lighting and so forth. But to get back to the photos, nobody was using strobes at the time for production stills. And I realized what Bobby Genova actually did me a favor by saying, "This is shit," because I knew it was shit. And I said, "Well, simple. We're going to take all these production shots, these hardcore shots, we're going to take them with a flash. In fact, we're going to get flash heads that stand by the movies, by the movie lights, which they're, technically speaking, they're slightly different, but they both do their job. The movie lights for moving pictures, the flash for your hardcore shots.
Aren't they different colors? So sometimes you come out with a rainbow of shit?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
The flash were strong enough?
We figured that out, yeah. Color temperature. Yeah, we just try to keep everything 5600K, which is the same as sunlight. So he gave me the chance. Bobby gave me a chance. I think he would have gave anybody a chance. And
don't be so sure, because you're an easy guy to approach and talk to. And that is a fact. I always felt comfortable with you and always liked you. So let it be known. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's how I always saw you, to me. A really easygoing, nice guy. So you go to Jim South. He says, "You want to shoot titties? Go to Jim South?"
I said, "Bobby Hollander sent me over here. Who are you, son?" I said, "My name's Paul, and and I'm here to get some titties."
Were you excited?
Who sent you? I said, "Bobby Hollander," and he went like this and laughed. And he says, "Okay," and then he'd reach in his drawer and pull out the green, blue cards and say, "Here's the titties."
New titties.
Yeah, here's
because the old titties were in a book.
Yeah, the old titties were in the book, and they were all Polaroids, right, back in that day.
What a dream!
Yes.
On the Polaroids were connected to this blue card.
That's it exactly. That's the same.
Right here. This is an original card from Jim South he gave to me, and since he just passed, we'll remember that there'll never be another Jim, and he was the best. When you think about him, it's a heartbreak that he's gone. He got old, and that's the way life is, but he was unbelievable for me.
Yeah, he really was. So many people have said the same thing to me, and I didn't realize he affected so many people so deeply, but he really has. And I don't think there will ever be another one like him. And he taught me a lot, and he said, just be cool, Paul. And then he started calling me Max, when I changed my name. Just be cool. It'll happen. Just relax. Because I was a push, push, push kind of guy, right?
That's me.
Yeah. I think we shared that in common, that we push. I mean, we wouldn't have gone down to Costa Rica. You wouldn't have gone to Europe. Unless you push in a good way, you're not going to succeed. You're just going to kind of, and you see that with a lot of people, like, I don't want to name names, but a lot of people come into our business but never rise, and they just stay the same level and then go. So Bobby was very helpful to me. And then Jim, I remember the first day I walked in there, I sat on that big couch he had. And I sat on that couch.
A couple girls, one on each side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching the conduct of business. I watched you when you come in. I don't know if it was the first day, but it was one of those days. And you just came in and like went right to the drawer, pulled out the cards, looked at them. Yeah. Okay, we'll take this one. And, you'd put the drawers back, and Jim would get on the phone. Honey, I got a producer. I want you to talk.
Oh, that's later. That's way later.
Yeah.
That's way later. That's in the 97, 98, 99.
Yeah, right.
But in the early days, I was just an actor.
Yeah, right. Yep, exactly. But
I would look at the cards and go.
But no, he had the highest regard for you because, like I say, when you got TT on the set, that's just one less thing you got to worry about. It was handled. And it didn't matter what kind of girl, you would find a way to make an ordinary scene into a special scene.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure to work with you on those. So I got along. So I sat on the couch for like 2 hours because I was there as soon as he opened the door in the morning. And
you have the old school values. That's what a lot of people in porno did not have. We are kind of from blue collar mentalities. You're fucking serious, even though you want to go have fun. So did I, but you're there. You're not fucking around.
That's you can't fuck around. You gotta push and keep on pushing in the right way, because you can push too hard. But showing up before guys open shows that you care. You respect his time. So I sat on that couch for about 2 hours because he opened at 10. And we sat there and we kept on sitting there. And we just watched the conduct of business going back and forth. All the guys would come in and the girls would come in, and, we'd listen to the girls pitch, and he'd sit back in his desk and listen to, this guy didn't treat me right. Right. Hey.
Jim, can I borrow some money? Jim, can I borrow some money?
Jim, can I borrow some money? Okay, honey. Hey, oh my God. Yeah, I'll tell you a little story later on, but and that was one of his favorite lines. Max, let me tell you a story. I'm sure he's done the same to you. Anyway, he made me sit, but I learned a lot in that 2 hours. And then he says, okay, let's go to lunch. So not only was I sitting there watching the conduct of business going down, and I think this was a plan of his, although he never told me whether it was or not. He wanted me to see how things were done. Then we went to lunch.
Yeah, but he picked you out because you probably have that personality, a nice blue-collar personality, right? Mm-hmm. That he can get along and understand. Not a, person who's living life on the edge and drinking, driving, drugs. you're a regular, strong, solid guy. So he didn't do that for everybody. You're not going to lunch with Jim South unless he feels some way towards you.
Yeah, I that's and he told me later, that he felt like sometimes I pushed too hard, but he understands why I did it. And so we had lunch, and him and a couple of girls, and Jim, can I borrow just a few dollars till the next job?
100, 200, 300. I mean, how many girls owe Jim money? Still.
And he'd pull out that Western stack of $100 bills, and yeah, he was making good money back then. He was the only game in town. I mean, you couldn't really count in Reb Sawitz. I mean, at Pretty Girl International. No, I mean, Reb was an all right guy, but he wasn't doing business like
Jim South was the man.
And
he created it himself.
Yes, he did. And he took a beating. They broke his fucking leg.
Arms.
Yeah, his arm. Yeah, they broke his fucking arm. So he appreciated when I went to jail, but that's down the road a little bit. So real simply, we got along, and he started sending me some girls, and he would talk to the girls. And back then, if he said you're working for him, you worked for him. And unlike nowadays, hey, do you want to work for Max Hardcore? No. But so he got these girls, and what I was doing was shooting amateur videos, right? That's what Bobby Hollander wanted. And I got into a situation. He wanted both the girl and the guy to be amateurs, which basically meant that they were brand new. Okay.
The guys too? He wanted amateurs?
The guys too, yeah.
That's scary.
It was scary because on a number of occasions, the guys couldn't perform. And this is the story that I would get. I'd be sitting across the table from them, just like we are right now, and I'd say, I just need you to get in there, lay some fucking pipe, okay, pop shot on the face, and get the fuck out of my sight, okay?
You tell them that?
Okay. It's real simple, but I'd put it into a nice way. And so the guy would go, inevitably, this story, oh, don't worry, I can fuck 3 times a night. Okay, listen, we just need one. Better yet, give me 2, okay? All right. Inevitably.
Flip the lights on.
So the guys, and the guy's over in the corner.
Scared.
Beating the noodle. And he says, well, I don't know what's happening, man. This never happened before. Okay. Holy shit. So oh, Christ.
I read comments on my, interviews, and somebody says, what's the big deal about fucking a girl? What's the big deal about being a great performer, huh? Anybody can do that, you dumb motherfucker. Well, we have to tell you, you wish.
Right.
You wish you could, flip those lights on without your Viagra, Cabaret, or whatever, with a girl you might not be that excited or attracted to.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll laugh at your fucking face. Next. So, right?
Yeah. So we had a couple situations like that. And I said, wait a second. Okay. We're not going to kill this scene. I didn't put all this together and get all these people on the set. It was a small crew, but it was still a crew. And I was on the hook no matter what. So I said, okay, son, just have a seat over there. And let me show you how it's done. Okay? So I would get behind the girl, right? Reverse cowgirl. I would get behind her. So you couldn't see my face, right? You could just see the action. And, I'd be going up and down like that to get the required footage that we needed. And it would look like, if we were matched, fairly good, it would look like the guy had actually finished the scene.
Yeah.
And then at some point in my life, I realized, or in my career, I realized, why do I hire these knuckleheads? Why don't I get guys like T.T. Boy, John Doe, Mark Wallace, people that knew how to fucking fuck when the lights came on, and then there was no problem. Oh, and let's not forget all the great guys that were that did it for us. Like you're like right at the top of the list. So I got that, and then I started performing. I said, because I was so familiar with it, I created this series called Anal Vision with Bobby Hollander.
So this is 92, 93, 94?
Yeah, 93 we just introduced it, and 94 we hit it pretty good. Yeah, so I was doing most of the scenes in there, and sometimes I'd hire like Don Fernando, to do a scene for me.
How'd he do? Hit and miss.
Sometimes it's better not to say anything if you don't have something nice to say.
Don's a nice guy.
Don's a nice guy, yeah, but he's not the strongest performer. It was hit or miss. If he liked the Asian girl, he was fine. Sometimes it was a little rough. But he's a nice guy. I like him personally. So I got going with this, and I said, well, this is easy. And then we were able to create different series. And
let me ask you a question. Yeah. So, because I know the answer to this, but not sneaking, but it feels kind of sneaky that you're behind the girl doing reverse cowgirl. Mm-hmm. There's no camera on you. You get to fuck probably pretty girl, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good girl.
Yeah.
And it's probably fairly quick, right? Like 5 minutes, because you're only in reverse cowgirl 5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah, and then we do doggy style, so I can get out of the frame.
Up and over?
Yeah, up and over.
So you would do this, and it's like, because you like fucking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like fucking. So I did stunt work before because guys sucked, you know what I mean? And I would be like, this is great, because this is the best time. There's no pressure, right? You're just like, hey. Was it right?
That's right.
Right, because you're not the whole scene. Because sometimes in a scene, there's pressure sometimes, right?
Well, especially when the girl's being a bitch and you don't like her anyway.
All the factors. I used to do 3-4 scenes a day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
right.
So then you're worn out after 20 days, in a row, so,
Most guys wouldn't be able to do 3 days in a row of that.
Right.
I mean, 1 day in a row. I mean, 4 scenes, I don't know any guys that could do 4 scenes a day. Yeah. Not good ones, anyway.
And I used to still have a hard on out the door when my 4th scene. But, I'm not the normal guy. But anyways, I'm just saying.
No, you're like superhuman.
Thanks. But it was fun to do the stunt work, right? I mean, was it fun? How'd you feel? Like, was it great?
Yeah. It was great. There was no pressure, and I knew I was going to get paid, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my rent this week. This month. Yeah. So our rule, even going back that far, and back in 94, 93, 94, was if the girl shows up one way or another, you're finishing that fucking scene. Okay? I don't care if you don't like her. I don't care if she stinks. I don't care if she's on drugs. She's finishing that fucking scene. Okay? And I don't mean if she's on drugs where she's all like whacked out. No one.
See, you're the sheriff. I told you.
Yeah.
I told you, you're the sheriff. You're going to jail, or you're
That's right.
You're the sheriff. I knew it.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
We finished every scene but one in my day, and that was a weird situation where, this guy with curly hair, Mark Paduska, brought over this girl, and she was decent looking. Mark didn't like her, though. So he says, Max, can you take over? And I said, yeah, sure. So she was being very difficult to work with. I think it was her first job. And I just said, loosen up, babe. It's just porn, okay? And she just couldn't get it out of her fucking head that she was being a whore, on film, So
that is the psychology of some women.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it goes up, it goes down. It's like, yeah, I love it, but then all of a sudden it can kick in and say, what the hell am I doing, right?
Yeah,
and then you got a big set going on. You're like, I got money invested, so shit gets weird.
A lot of money. You got people that they got to get paid. One where they show it up.
Yeah.
They don't. But so she gets up to go to the bathroom. 5 minutes goes by. We're out there shooting this shit. I said, Michael Roddy. You remember Michael? Hey, Grip and Sea Light guy. And so I said, Michael, go check on the girl. Spend over 5 minutes. Nobody takes that long to take a dump. Come on. So he goes over. He says, Max, hey, come here. I said, what the fuck? She's gone. Her car's gone, everything. What the fuck? So we didn't have cell phones at that time. So there's nowhere. I think she had a pager or some shit. Anyway, it didn't work out. That was the only scene that didn't work out.
Because she just got there and she said...
She got nervous.
Got nervous, huh?
She started out with Mark Produska. And Mark wasn't interested in her. And because she was just no fun. But I want to talk about the happiness. And we have really got a lot of good girls to talk about. So fire away.
Oh, we're not there yet. We're almost there.
All right.
Soon we will unveil the new character, Max, right?
Right.
Yeah, because you're still Max West.
Max
West, the director. So I worked for you a few times, I remembered, right? Before we went to Costa Rica.
That's why I took you, because I knew how good you were.
And you were kind enough, in my opinion, because I don't forget and I appreciate, people thinking of me and using me. Even though I was used all over the place and people I still didn't get big-headed. And I'm still humble. So thank you for taking me to Costa Rica.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. It was, like I say, it was a pleasure because, I didn't know what kind of girls we were going to get down there. What kind of girls? Remember, we got the hookers from the downtown club.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Some cute ones.
I think is really exciting. You go down, you're really taking your chances here. And
I remember, you want to hear something crazy? Mm-hmm. This is the crazy part. I was in Frisco working, right? For Alex Dorenzi, doing me, Peter North, everybody or something. And right before I left, I watched Anachrophobia for the first time. Right?
Yeah, the spider movie.
Right. And then I'm in the middle of Costa Rica jungle in those little houses on top of that mountain.
Yeah, right.
And there's no security for the spiders. It's not sealed. It's not sealed. It's open kind of roof, it seemed like.
It was.
And these spiders are crawling. They look exactly like the ones from Anachrophobia. And I'm like, oh my God. And I don't like spiders, right? And I'm like, the whole fucking trip. As a matter of fact, me and John Doe shared a room when we got to the beach. Remember? First we're at the jungle, top of the mountain, big view, it's nice. We
were above the clouds.
Above the clouds. A billion mosquitoes biting everybody. Remember?
Yeah.
We were out there shooting out in the restaurant area.
At night, yeah.
Yeah, nighttime they're biting everybody. They didn't bite. Oh, they did bite me, because on the way back my whole leg was swollen. I think I got malaria, right? But anyways, we go to the beach, right? And we sweep the room because they're sick of the spiders. The spiders are fucking getting us. The spiders and mosquitoes are eating us alive, right? But me and John Doe sweep the room, right?
Smart.
Every night we sweep the room. Right? And one night we saw them. In the morning we woke up and they were all over the room. Right? They had been swept, so they weren't in the room. But in the morning they were right at the foot of the bed on the walls He's looking exactly like an acrophobia spider. I'm telling you.
They were.
They were, I think, exactly. They were ready to eat us. I'm not joking. It was a beautiful trip, but.
Tarantulas.
No, they were like little, like long, fuzzy-legged, bouncy spiders.
Yeah.
They looked just like the ones from acrophobia. It was fucking crazy. Anyway. So,
that was a trip. I didn't know that. We had to push the damn bus up the hill too. Remember that part?
I remember something like that. Here's another thing. Me and John Doe took the canoe out to Crab Island.
Oh yeah.
There's this island out there, and we get to let's go out there, right? We get out there. There's 1 trillion fucking crabs on the island, right now.
Oh, those little crabs.
No.
Oh, the big ones.
They're that big.
Whoa.
All right, but it was because then we go to one side, and the current was so strong that it pushed us onto the island, and it was volcanic razor stone there, right? And so we're getting cut. Crabs are trying to eat us, and we jump in the water.
I forgot that part.
I jump in the water, and guess what?
And there's sharks.
On that side, it's filled
with jellyfish.
Thousands and thousands of the small jellyfish.
Oh Christ! Yeah.
Right now, I'm in a sea of jellyfish. It was a trip, right?
Oh man, yeah, that was a trip. Yeah.
And we went scuba diving. Me and John Doe went scuba diving, and a big shark came up to me when I wasn't looking. The instructor hit me in the head, or the dive master hit me. Shark! I'm like, where? And he came up right next to me to eat me. Anyways, that was a crazy trip.
You know, the sharks generally don't eat people, but they can.
During the day.
They can bite them.
During the day, I guess this shark didn't, but whatever. It was a big shark.
Yeah, so.
And then we saw a manta ray, like 15 feet, flying by.
Yeah, they had some wildlife down there. I'll tell you
serious,
that.
Yeah. So go ahead. So we go to Costa Rica. You go eat the hookers and.
Yeah, San Jose.
San Jose?
The capital.
Yeah, but what places? Because we went to a couple different places.
Yeah, we went to we flew into San Jose. Stayed there. Remember up on the hill. It was nice. That place was nice.
It was cool. Cloudy, right? Because it was cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we stayed down at a hotel, and then we got some hookers there, and we took the hookers out to the West Coast.
To the beach.
Yeah, to the beach, which was from San Jose to the beach, I don't know, 80 miles. And we're singing songs and stuff on the bus. And Go West by, I can't remember. Go West, where the skies are blue. Yeah, it's a nice place. I wouldn't do it again. There's too many bugs, down there. It's hard to really get excited about things when you got the bugs eating your ass. Okay, that we know.
It's serious too.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it was Peter Backman, the producer of the show, or Mike Brain, but we decided to shoot on top of a rock in the middle of a river. Why the hell we chose to do that? And Francois, the cameraman, the DP, saying, Max, this is a really bad idea. And I'm telling them, well, let's go. And then there was a waterfall, just a lot of good things. But what people don't realize when they're watching it on TV is the bugs are stinging you.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
The bugs, the mosquitoes, the spiders, they got us.
They got you, baby. So, the West Coast, nice. And then that's where you guys almost got eaten by a shark. Oh, yeah. You. Is that you?
That's me. That's the waterfall in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Well, hold on. Let me pull up. I got John Doe and Shawn Michaels. Hold on one second.
How about that?
Look at.
Oh, yeah.
That's my TT Boy gallery.
Jesus.
That's fine.
I can see.
So that's me, John Doe.
Great guy.
Max Reynolds, and Shawn Michaels. In Costa Rica under the waterfall. 1994.
1994, 26 years ago.
That was pretty, yeah, right? That's a cool picture, huh?
Yeah, that's great. I don't have any of those pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send them to you.
Did you? Yeah, I'd love to see. Love to get them. I'll send you the address. So, yeah, we were down there, and then what was the next question?
Oh, the thing is that, so we were out there, we fucked the hookers on the beach, right? But I want to remember what girls. So you got the movies here.
Yeah.
This is a movie, one of the movies in Costa Rica. And that's Kitty Young.
Kitty Young was a wonderful woman.
Brittany O'Connell.
Brittany O'Connell.
And the truth is, I love both these girls so much. They were so great to work with. Oh my God, Kitty Young was like silk, and Brittany was like that bright red-headed, fat pussy. Both these girls, I forgot about Brittany, not bringing her up, but Brittany O'Connell was amazing. I loved her. And Kitty Young, forget about it. She made me so excited. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story. Kitty Young, we were in Frisco, right? And I hadn't worked with her, right? And Mark Wallace kept hogging her. We were going to do a 4-way with Sierra, Kitty Young, me and him, right? And I had not worked with her, and I was like, fuck, this is bullshit, right? And so I said, I'm taking her, she's working with me, right? And of course, after I got done with her, she was in love, right? Because I was so excited with her, you know what I mean? I was going crazy on her. Anyways, on the way back home, Mark Wallace was pissed off, right?
Oh,
so he said something smart to me.
That's
right?
a mistake.
He said something smart to me on the boardwalk or whatever, the boardway where
the boarding.
The boarding, where first it goes through. I think it was near the security. There wasn't much security back then. This is from Oakland to Burbank, whatever. Maybe he said something smart, and I'm looking at him, and I'm going. And then he got smart with me before because I was playing with him a little, like a day before on the set. I used to play with Shadowbox with him, and he got smart with me. Then this time he got really smart with me, and I was like. So we were up in the sky, and I'm kind of weird sometimes. It kicks in, and I get really, pissed off. So I go to him, and I grabbed him, and I said, don't ever fucking say my name again, okay? I'll fuck you up. Right? On the plane, right?
You're right.
And then he gets up. He does a backhand to my chest. I was like, of all the places I have a really strong chest, that's not the place to hit me. You hit me in the nose, I might have felt it, right?
Right.
And I just was like, boom, boom, boom. A 3-hook combination on the aisleway. He put his hands up, but my punches are real hard, so they went right through his hands, and he was knocked out unconscious on the ground. Right? And I was about ready to stomp him because I get excited. Yeah. I was about ready to stomp him, and then the whole airplane jumped on me. No, you're a bad guy, right? No, motherfucker. And all the people are like, this is crazy. Some of the girls that were there, and I was like, but he hit me first.
Hey, I was defending myself.
Right? Anyways, so the thing was, this was before 9/11. This is probably 94.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, they said the police are waiting for us, and the police said, hey, you're going to jail, right?
For what?
Right. But because Mark Wallace said, I want to press charges, right? He said, I said, he hit me first, so I'll press charges too. And Mark's like, he said, the police say, you're going to jail, right? And Mark said, okay, it's cool. I said, sure, it's cool. But guess what? I called him that night and said, I'm going to catch you on the set tomorrow and finish the job. I was a bastard, huh?
I could see that happening.
Anyways, but Brittany O'Connell, but Kitty Young,
wonderful.
Kitty Young, unbelievable. And I heard she passed. I hope not. But she was fucking one of the best ever. And Brittany O'Connell, too. Unbelievable. These are two great girls. What other girls did you bring?
There was a girl from Blondie. No. She came to Sweden when...
Vanessa Chase, you brought.
Vanessa Chase,
she's cool. She's nice.
With B, and I turned him into a pretty good PA.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Learned this business well. And then we had Brittany O'Connell. I think she brought her boyfriend along. and he was working on the set too. And then I had Big Bruce out of Minnesota, and Big Bruce was I taught him how to grip, and these girls were just so easy. That's why normally for private they have very nice studio photography for the cover, but we got such a nice sweet shot out of this that we used it for the cover, and they never did that before. It's just it's a production still.
Yeah, and they, listen, people probably don't remember. Some people will, but Private was known for their magazines first.
Yes.
Right? The high quality hardcore magazine. Jake Steve loved them.
Yeah. Jake.
And you used to hire Jake sometimes, right?
Yeah. Jake was a no-brainer. He was easy guy to work with. The girls liked him. He had a big stick. Always worked. He was the easy guy to work with. I didn't work with him enough to really get to know him, but like I did with you, because I would see you all the time, and then of course, as we know, he just vanished.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Shit happens, and it happens fast, and you wish that it didn't happen.
Yeah, you do.
You just can't. You can't take things back.
Nope.
But sometimes things they're just not right. Things, the way the universe, the cosmos, whatever happens, some chain of events just don't seem right sometimes.
Yeah, but it does happen. And like with John Doe, a really unfortunate situation with him getting involved with the drugs that he did, and then the story I know that he just kind of lost his mind and thought people were after him and stuff like that. And as we know, it didn't work out so good for him.
No, yeah. No, John Doe was a cool guy, an interesting guy. We one time we were in Frisco, right? We fucking. I don't know why we were on this side of the freeway, but we were on one side of the freeway. Maybe took a taxi to get dinner or something. I don't know. And then the hotel was on the other side of the freeway, right? And to get to the hotel, either we had to pay for another taxi, probably, or we could jump the freeway.
Oh, shit.
Right? And the thing was, to get there, we had to take the long way over, 5 miles out of the way, right?
Yeah.
And so we jumped the freeway, right? High Patrol caught us, right? And he's chasing us. But we get in the hotel and vanish while he's chasing through the hotel. He because we jumped and he pulled his car, he saw us, but we got in the hotel before he could see exactly where we were. But he was in there trying to find us, but too late.
Too late. Oh. I tell you, I was witness to one of the best fights that you ever had, though.
Oh, yeah?
That was in Costa Rica. And we were in a restaurant, and we were getting ready to fly out. And some locals came in, and you guys, everybody was cool. Okay, you guys were cool. You and John were just hanging out, and we're talking about things and all the fun we had. And these guys came in and scoped us out, started asking the wrong questions, and then started lipping off. And I don't know if you remember this, but and I'm sitting back on my table with a beer, and I said, they're fucking with the wrong guys here, and because they were fucking with you and John Doe, and I said, okay, just be cool. No, TT boy ain't gonna be cool. And sure enough, the next thing I know is you popped one of the guys, and John Doe jumped in there, of course, immediately. I don't know who threw the first blow, but these guys were saying some pretty inappropriate things, like, you're an asshole, and it was just unnecessary on their part. And they paid the price. And we all jumped into the van, and I hayakoed out of there and made it to the airport just as the police were arriving back
Really?
at the bar.
I punched somebody?
Oh, you put them on the floor.
Really?
Yeah. You don't remember that one, huh?
I punched a lot of people, but
Yeah, that was a pretty good blow. The guy was big and slow and heavy. One below, and he lost his balance. His knees went out. His legs turned to jelly, and he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember that well. I remember a little something, but
Yeah, it happened quick.
I had knocked a lot of people out with one punch, just unconscious. But sounds good.
Yeah.
You know?
It was interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I liked that trip. It was fun.
Yeah.
I remember we came back. I have a good memory. I remember we came back on Valentine's Day, or the day after, or Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1994. Mm-hmm. Right? Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I saw my girlfriend, right? One thing I didn't ask you, were you a fan of porn before
Oh, yeah.
you got in the business?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I had access to it down in Key West, right on Duval Street, the main street there. There was a porn shop and they had the old time booths there. So I'd go in there and watch. I could watch all the porn and a lot of good stuff and a lot of crap. And that back then it was all on 8mm loops. You remember those?
Well, that's before, because the VHS came around about 85 in my recollection.
Right. But these guys were behind the times, so
okay.
they had actual tape,
Oh, shit.
8mm tape that played in there, and the reason they call them loops, for people that don't know, is that it would do the whole scene in 8 minutes, because that's what they could fit on a reel, and then it would start over again because it would pull the tape out of the middle of it and then wrap it around the top. And that's why they call them 8mm loops. And the 8mm is the size of the video, of the tape itself, the film. And then, so I would watch all this stuff, and I said, shit, I can make that stuff. It doesn't look that damn difficult. I didn't know I was going to be a performer. I kind of marched backwards into it when guys couldn't perform, because we got to finish that scene.
Was it easy for you to become a performer?
Well, once I did a few scenes where I filled in, it became very easy. It was no problem. As long as I liked the girl. If the girl wasn't a bitch, it was a dream job. If the girl was a bitch, I had to put more effort into it and just wrap it up. How many minutes do you need? That kind of thing.
Yeah, let's get it done, finished.
Yeah. How many positions do you need? That's all. That's the question I would ask.
So you became a professional performer too? Hired out?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I worked for a lot of people.
Wow.
I mean, in fact, me and John Doe worked together for Chris at Anabolic.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and with his future wife at the time,
Monique. She was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're driving his motorcycle, and we're out.
Monique Dimone, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, Monique Dimone.
It's great fucking... Something about her. She was passionate. Her pussy was great. She was hot.
Yeah, I thought she was hot. So to me, it was no problem. And then, and she really was good at playing a victim. So the whole setup was just, we ride out there on motorcycles. We're tough asses. We're wearing leather and smoking cigarettes. And and she comes up in this old pickup truck, right? And she's lost. And so we kindly, through the kindness of our hearts, decided to help her out.
Key Wested her.
Yeah, we Key Wested her. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and she loved being choked and spanked and
She was just hot.
slapped, and it just added to the whole overall emotion of the production. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but if you look it up, I'm sure it's listed someplace. But it was a hot scene, and it was the first DP that she did. And then I said, "Well, what do we know stuff 2 cocks up your ass?" And she says, "Yeah."
Really? Wow.
So we did a double anal when double anal was nobody did it.
Ironically,
Yeah.
I did double anal in 1990 with Chessie Moore.
Oh yeah, Chelsea Moore.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't my thing, but I was young, so I do whatever they say pretty much.
Right.
And Chessie Moore was double anal, and then I think we
That
even
was
tried a
girls
triple
with
anal.
The big tits, right?
Yeah, me and Rocco did a scene with her for Roy Brewington. But anyways, this was for probably Charlie Biggs or somebody. Who knows?
Biggs.
Oh, I love Charlie Biggs. He's a cool guy.
I do too.
But so I didn't really know that, Max. How many scenes did you do for hire?
Me, I don't know. I didn't get the masters. So I don't know the exact number, but I know that if it probably somewhere around, it's definitely under 80 or below.
That's a fair amount, though.
Yeah, it just was, I wanted to own the masters. And I'm glad I did. I went ahead because before, like when I was doing work for Bobby Genova, we were doing breastworks.
When you bring up Bobby Genova, I know what Peter Davey and Bobby Hollander looks like, and I'm sure I met Bobby Genova, probably. But can you tell me his stature? Explain it to me.
Yeah, he was a short Italian guy and squat, not fat, but just squat and gruff, New York guy.
Muscle or just...
No, a little bit, yeah, and a mustache all the time.
Almost like Rob Spallone a little bit?
Yeah, like Rob Spallone.
But not as much muscle.
Right, yeah, not as much muscle. Okay. But he owned the company, LBO, and so they started making these movies, and I didn't own the masters. And I was also working for Metro, and I would be on call for those guys if they needed, just a guy. But I was...
Actor.
Yeah. But I was also making a series for them, a couple of different series for those guys. And where was I going with this? So since I wanted to own the masters, I had to get away from LBO because Genova didn't want to give it up.
Of course not.
And I don't blame him.
Yeah. He paid you a fee to direct, and you...
Right. But then guys like Evil Angel and other companies would let you own the masters,
Devil's Film.
Yeah.
So first it was Evil Angel.
Yeah.
And then, from my recollection, the Devil's Films followed Evil Angel's footsteps.
Yeah. Stagliano was the first one that I know it. And then...
and I was part of Devil's Films.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I started.
Right.
I was quiet. Nobody really knew. But yeah, I started in 96.
That's Spallone, right?
Huh? No, that was Mike Rubenstein.
Yeah, Rubenstein. Right. Okay.
Wonderful person. And he got me started, owning product. But anyways, so yeah, you knew right away. You already had a business mentality, that you wanted to own masters. You knew.
It's for sure, because my stuff was different. And
okay, so were you going hardcore then?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was emphasis on anal. And okay, let me give you an example here. Okay, when I first started directing scenes, and we did movies like we did a knockoff on different types of characters, right? And the girls and the guys like Jake, the cameraman Jake, they didn't want to shoot the hardcore stuff. And the girls would say, I don't want you coming on my face. You can come on my tits, but no coming on the face.
Some girls.
Some girls, right? And I said...
Probably the amateur girls, mostly, right?
Well, some of the big stars that figured they didn't have to do it. Like, I don't know if it was... just as an example, Christy Canyon was a big, huge star at the time. And if it wasn't her, it was somebody like her that said, I don't want to do facial cum shots. I don't want to do anal. I don't want to do this. And when I start hearing shit like this, I said, that's your prerogative, but this is what we need. So we got I collected my stuff by going to Zane Entertainment and Chuck Zane, and we had a big fight over the rights. And eventually I won and got the trademark for Max Hardcore.
So you were making stuff and he was distributing it?
No, I would have distributors. I would make it and I would have different distributors put it out on the street.
So, okay. I want to make sure we get the time sequence correctly. So we have you performing.
Yeah.
Right? As a gun for hire. Mm-hmm. And you're directing.
Right.
And you're directing. Right, because we were at 1994 kind of, because we did the Costa Rica trip.
Right.
So is this after 94 you started?
Yeah, after 94.
You started performing?
Yeah, I started, no, I was doing scenes before that, for different people, whoever needed a guy,
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, so, what was it, in 94, I started working for Zane. And then I said...
As the director?
Yeah, for the Anal Adventures of Max Hardcore, which this character that I developed.
Okay, so because this is a big deal right here. I want to know, the people want to know, because you're Max West, the director, right?
Right.
And performer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when and how did you come up with Max Hardcore?
Well, I knew I needed a name. I always used Max, either Max West or Max Steiner for other people.
I remember Max Steiner a little bit.
Yeah, so I came up with, I said, well, let's just take it to a brand new name. And I was thinking ahead here, a name that would be easy to remember. And no matter if you were in the business or not, what that name meant.
You know what? Tell you the truth? It's a brilliant name. But I never paid attention. And just the other day, I don't know, maybe a year ago, 2 years, 3 years, I was like, Max Hardcore. I got it, right? I'm in my own world, right?
Right.
But it's a fucking brilliant name.
Well, it was good enough that we were able to trademark it. But Chuck pulled...
But you came up with it? How exactly you come up with the name? I'm just curious. Sometimes names are hard to come up with.
Well, I looked at a couple different names. Yeah, it was. Max West I thought was good, but didn't have any cut to it. It was a dull knife. And same thing with Max Steiner. It was good. Steiner, boom. Still didn't tell you what you did, right? Now, if you got a race car driver named Go Fast, you know what he does, right?
Yeah.
He goes fast, and so Max Hardcore, the maximum amount of hardcore that you can get. Was it sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, we're not always going to make the same shit. Go ahead.
So this name came up. You came up with this name while you're working with Zane Productions.
Yeah, because he was the guy that had the series America's Raunchiest Home Videos. Now that I remember, that was way back then, and which was based off the television show America's Funniest Home Videos. and we would do little spoofs with it. And I said, well, I got an idea. So I went and pitched Chuck Zane. And I said, Chuck, I got a great idea. We're going to create this character. His name is going to be Max Hardcore. And he's going to be a character that's known to make the hardest of the hardcore stuff with fist fucking and pissing on the girls and the girls pissing, squirting, they call it. This is going to be really successful, and I'm going to own it, and you're going to distribute it, okay? And we're going to do this for a percentage. You're going to make 30%, I'm going to make 70%, and I'm going to keep the masters. Or I'll do 50-50, and I get everything that comes along with it. And so he agreed, but he pulled a fast one on me by saying, by trademarking the name, Max Hardcore. And he tried to shut me down. This was, now we're approaching 1997.
He trademarked your name?
Yeah.
Your creation?
Yeah, he did. I had a common law trademark on it, but he was the one distributing it. So that means a lot to the trademark and patent office. It carries a lot of weight. So he got me there, but because he couldn't get it through because we were putting up a pretty good defense with my lawyer Clyde DeWitt, that he backed down and he signed the trademark over to me. And so it's Max Hardcore is a trademark name with the U.S. Department of Patent and Trademark Office.
TT Boy's patented. I'm trademarked too.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah.
But that's amazing.
Yeah, because you don't want somebody else out there running around, hey, I'm TT Boy.
Right. And they do. There's all kinds of TT Boys on YouTube, saying they're TT Boy. And TT Boy was invented in 1980.
Well, you can shut them down if you've got is it still valid?
Yeah, it's valid. TT Boy was actually invented in Troy the Boy. I came up with in 84. Anyway, it wasn't used until 89. You know what I mean? TT Boy. But in any case, so.
Well, that's plenty of time.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's known. I have the patent and trademark.
Oh, absolutely.
But so that's. I know, Chuck. So that's surprising. So that's kind of a dirty move.
It was from a business standpoint. I understand why he did it, and we're friends afterwards too.
Okay.
But he just made a play. He said, "Listen, I created you." His argument was, "I created you so that I'm going to take the proceeds from this." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, you helped." But you weren't solely responsible because without the name and the character, you had nothing to promote. So one has to follow the other. So you followed me. I didn't follow you. And eventually in fact, we had, when we signed it over, we put it behind us. So.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. There's no sense holding grudges over it. He made a move, and it was business-wise, it was a smart move. And at least that's the way I see it. He might have a different opinion on it.
So this is 94. You said
95. We started.
95.
I put the name into commerce, as they say, in 95, 94, 95. I'm not sure of the first release. It had to be probably 94.
I mean, did you have the hat then too already? Was it part of it, or was that?
Yeah, when I created Max Hardcore.
The hat, the vest. You look like a sheriff. I mean, a cowboy. You know,
I was
cowboy boots, right? Sometimes,
always, yeah.
Right, cowboy boots. So it's a character. It's a real deal character. TT Boy is just me, just some crazy motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
But Max Hardcore is a character, right? Like you invented a character, and that is some people think that's just a piece of cake, but no, that takes a lot of thought, patience, It takes time.
Yeah, well, you got to have a plan. Yeah. And I had the plan. It wasn't a perfect plan, but it worked out pretty good for me. And now that I've got it, I'm holding on to it tight. Anybody puts my stuff up on the internet, I can shut them down and or sue them for a lot of money. So I haven't really had a problem with that, except for the Russian sites, which they're like, it's still the Wild West over there. Anyway, then I got going with it.
So I'm a business person, you know. I'm a businessman, so I like to know. You started in 95 with Chuck. It was a 30-70 split?
Well, at first, he just paid me by scene.
Oh.
And then I proposed a number of ideas to him to say, well, number one, I'm going to own the name. Number two, we're going to come up with a different arrangement for you to compensate me. You can continue to distribute, or I can take it to somebody else, but I own the name. He says, no. I own the name because I put it into commerce. Technically, an argument could be made by then. Specifically, what he told me when I put forth this idea to him was he looked at me and kind of cocked his head to one side, and he says, you know something? Go fuck yourself. And he meant it. And he was going to put in another character. In fact, they did make one movie with somebody to play my character, and it failed miserably. And so he says, you know what, fuck this. There's only one Max Hardcore. At least I think his thinking was this. And we're going to go with Max, and the real Max, and, you know, we'll work it out. So he didn't pay me as much as I wanted, but I did get the name. He had already trademarked it by 1997. 2 years later, he had it. It takes
6
a year
months.
or two.
Yeah,
it can take up to 2 years.
Slower times back then.
Yeah, and also they got to make sure that nobody else has got it in the play. Mm-hmm. And so there was some confusion there. Anyway, we worked it out. He got it, and then he signed it over to me. And with two lawyers. And I'll tell you a funny story, too, real quick. He had a lawyer team that was working on this deal out of San Diego, Precison and Reidelbeck. Two guys that they apparently knew their business pretty good. And they got this trademark, and I didn't even know they were working on it. And they prepared the documents to sign it over to me. So these guys had never lost a case before, okay? And so they got this big office with a nice view of downtown San Diego, and one of the lawyers who had never lost a case before couldn't handle it. And
couldn't handle what?
Couldn't handle the loss, losing this case. So he went back to his office and reached in his drawer, pulled out a .38 pistol, and capped himself in the head. And we, to this day, don't know why it affected him so much. It was just a loss. Maybe he had other things going on in his life that, you know, maybe a divorce was going on. Maybe, you know, he couldn't reach his shoes to tie him anymore. Who the fuck knows? But he killed himself in his office, which was pretty shocking. It's just kind of a strange aside to this whole.
That was terrible. That was
deal.
So he was your attorney?
No, that was his.
Oh, Chuck.
Precise
Okay.
isn't.
He lost.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. Mine was Clyde DeWitt.
All right, Clyde. All right, no, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I still want to understand. So you come up with the character, you get paid per scene, but originally I thought it was 30-70 or 50-50. What happened? to that?
Oh, we had a good deal for going for a while, and then
What was it? 30/70 or?
no. He would. I think, as I recall, it just went back to he'd pay me by scene. You know, simple. He'd pay me like a given amount, like
How much?
$1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000. I can't remember. I think for a whole movie with 3 scenes, I would make about $10,000. You know, with all the expenses, which
What do you mean?
back then was pretty damn good money.
With all the expenses already paid?
Yeah, with my no. I would have to pay the expenses through that $10,000. I was responsible for delivering the master tapes to his office, and they were edited out there. Then we went on, you know, and we did more business. We did other things, and we got along. And then the business changed, and Chuck. And the strangest thing, remember the 94 earthquake? Mm-hmm. Right. So the 94 earthquake killed his house. So I forget what they called that earthquake, but it killed
the
his
Northridge
house.
earthquake?
Northridge earthquake, that's it. And so it destroyed his home, and things started
Getting worse for him.
get worse for him, yeah. I think without that, he would have done fine. But that really hurt him.
Yeah, Tammy Monroe was his wife, right?
Yes, yeah. And in fact, before he got married, I worked with Tammy, and she was a nice gal to work with.
I thought she was a sweetheart, real sweet.
Sweet, it was so sweet, so soft-spoken. Yeah. If you ever see a Tammy Monroe scene, it's well worth the time. Yeah,
she was good. I worked with her a few times. I think I worked with her sister. Did your sister do Boy Girl too?
Yeah, I think she did have.
Or I wanted to work with her sister, redhead, right?
Yeah.
I worked with her. I wanted to, or I did.
Yeah.
Who knows? A lot of girls, but yeah, they're both cutie pies.
Yeah, there was a lot of sisters that I would have liked to have worked with. Jade Marcella had a beautiful sister, and she Jade and I did a lot of great scenes together, and she says, "No, Max, you're not working with my sister."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
she was just joking with me. I think I'd like to think so, because we always got along good. So and from that point on, from 90, Chuck was having his problems, but we were able to continue on, I think, to volume 13 in The Anal Adventures of Max Hardcore. And some of these scenes are still available on my website, which is max-hardcore.com. And from there, I pretty much went independent.
So you took the masters?
Yes.
From Chuck?
Everything.
And there's 13, or there was
13
masters over 2 years?
Yeah. Well, there was more than 13, but we made 13 movies. So, I wouldn't just take the masters of the movies. To really get the good stuff is the tape that comes right out of the camera. Some people confuse that with the those are called the camera masters. Yeah. And then there's the master of the movie. But that's a generation removed, at least one generation. So it's going to be degraded. It's not going to look as good as the masters that come out of the camera.
Okay. So then, 97, you're away from Chuck?
I'm not sure.
But 97, but you move on to your own?
Yeah, no, we went on for a few years, for sure. Yeah, we continued to work together.
Oh, so till 2000?
Yeah, at least. And I was doing, and then he moved, and things just kind of came apart there. So I got moving into different directions, and here and there, and then the internet came along and changed the whole world.
But I saw you at your house before, packing up boxes, right? And you were shipping them out yourself, I thought.
Yes, yeah, I was shipping myself.
So
Yeah.
you were distributing your own product
Yes.
to distributors and stores?
Well, here's what we would do. The next big one was not LBO. It was Legend. Legend would distribute for me, and I had the same deal with them. I owned it all.
30/70 or 25/75? What was the cut?
Yeah, they just paid by movie, so maybe making $10,000, $12,000 per movie.
So you wouldn't get a cut and reorders, anything like that?
No, they would whatever they could make out of it was theirs. Once we had a deal, we had the deal, and we didn't. It's too hard and to keep track. I'm not going to go out there with a goddamn clipboard and start, counting tapes on a shelving unit. It's pointless. You sell this movie as much as you can for $10,000 or whatever it was at the time, and that worked out pretty good. And then Legend, it was of course always very difficult to work with.
Really?
Those guys.
Two guys, right?
Yeah,
what were those guys' names again?
Jack Richmond.
Jack Richmond.
And
One's skinny, one's heavier.
That's the heavy guy. He's a tough motherfucker. He reminded me of Genova. He was one tough, rough motherfucker. Yeah. So
East Coast guys?
East Coast guys. Yeah, he's a real son of a bitch. But it comes with the territory. When you're in business, you're going to meet some people that are real assholes, and that's the way they are, and you're not going to change them. So why even bother letting it bother you? And that's the way he did business. We got along, as long as I delivered on time, because we got shipping dates. We can't fuck around. We got to get it out when we say we're going to put it out.
How many movies a year would you give them?
I made a lot of movies. I made all the anal vision. No, that was LBO.
The Max Hardcore movies. How many?
Yeah, we made we made a lot of movies. What was this series? The Max series, not the Anal Adventures. The Max, Pure Max, and a couple different series that we had, and it all kind of blends together. To me, we could put any title on them, and it would be the same. People wanted, and I realized at this time, people want short video. They don't want a scene that goes on for 45 minutes, an hour. Who's got time for that shit anymore? Who had time for it in 2000, 2005? People want to get in, to get out. So we started making the scene shorter.
How short?
No more than 30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, but how many movies would you drop to Legend a year, you think? One a month?
Oh, yeah, 2 a month.
2 a month?
Yeah, so 24 times maybe 5-6 years we're together.
150?
I didn't really put a count together, but it was a lot. They were good distributors. And then from there,
would you get the foreign rights, or was that them?
Yeah, I got the foreign rights too. Yeah.
Did you get money on those foreign? Good money?
Yeah.
2,000, 3,000 a pop?
Yeah,
1,000?
3,000 seemed to be the going rate. And so Chuck Zane was also doing that. Chuck had his deal going, and then Legend finally got in with the ball game, and then they started selling movies, mainly out of Berlin. In the Berlin show was the main hub from where all the distribution went to, and from there, I went with Jeff Mike over to JM Productions, and then he and I went a few years. And
was that the same situation, or did you get a cut?
No, I got the
flat fee.
Yeah, what he did was he did a count, how many movies we sold, because now it seemed to me that about that time is when sales for videos were going down, DVDs, and the internet was coming up. So we were doing a count at that time, and then
you were getting a percentage.
yes,
Did you make more getting a percentage or less?
yeah, I can't remember.
Same shit, pretty much.
Yeah,
Nothing,
pretty much.
nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. You can't drink 40, 50 years. I'll put it to you this way. Okay. The doctor asked me, well, how long you been drinking? I said, well, let me put it to you another way, Doc. When's the last time I've been sober?
Really?
Yeah.
I do remember seeing you drink a little bit here and there.
Oh, yeah. I was drinking so much. You know, I would stay in that happy place, you know, and fortunately for me, I was, you know, I rarely got mean. If you got me mean, you did something that really fucked me up. Like, the only time I ever got angry on a set was one time that I reacted physically, and it was a guy, he couldn't do it right. And then I look at his camera, and it's not even set right. It's set for outside when we're inside. And I said,
Daylight to
Pooch,
tungsten, you mean?
Pooch, put the camera right here, okay? I knew the angle. I said, put it right fucking there. I'm up on a goddamn table. The girl's in a chair. I'm below her. You know, so it's taking like a lot of exertion to do this. Now, to put the goddamn camera right here. And he says, no, it's better over here. I took the fucking chair, and it was a cheap plastic chair, though. You know, I took it, fucking threw it across the room, because I was so fed up with him. You know, just the guy that worked for me for a while. You know, but that was me. You know, and I never drank when I was working. But yeah, eventually I had to quit. You know, because the doc said your liver's going the wrong way. The numbers ain't good. So if you quit now, you're okay. If you keep going, you're going to die.
It's not a joke.
No, it's no joke.
I see something like that happen. You know, because, and then I think, Paul, or Max, between us, that life is so strange, right? And your psychology sometimes can trick you, thinking, no, that's somebody else. That's not going to happen to me. Right. No. No, that shit doesn't happen, right? And I seen this guy work for me, my warehouse guy. He worked for me for 8 years. And he wasn't happy. You know what I mean? He wasn't a happy guy. Maybe family and everything, you know, he just wasn't happy. But he was drinking, and then we moved to Georgia, you know, because I left California.
Yeah.
Right? And I got a warehouse out in Georgia, you know, did business out there in Atlanta. And he was drinking and drinking. He was drinking so much, they would come to work, and I would smell on his breath from the night before, right?
Right, because it would just, yeah.
And here's the facts, everybody. One day he came to work and he fell down, right? I liked the guy. He was a good guy, nice guy, solid guy, old school, you know, East Coast, whatever. And he fell down. I said, Pete, you got to go home or go straight to the doctor. I'll pay for the doctor visit. Just go straight to the doctor. Because, you know, I can't have you in my warehouse falling down.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
I got a lot. Yeah, he could die. Anything can happen. You know, I got a big warehouse, right? And there's sharp objects too. And so I said, hey, please go. So he goes, he doesn't go to the doctor. I said, I gave him directions, go to this doctor, I'll pay for it, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he goes home. I think it was 3 days later, he was in a hospital, right? I kid you not. 5 days later.
He's dead.
From that point, or 6 days, he was dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went to the hospital, I saw him in record time, instantly, his hair was off. Right? Like he went into rot mode.
Happen that fast.
I was like, what the fuck? So, it's serious.
Yeah. That I looked at it and I said, you know, I've seen people go down. 'Cause don't normally, when you're a young man, you're invincible, or you think so, right? But I seen people getting sick, and I said, well, I don't want no part of that because I don't want to live like that, you know, and it can happen at any time. So doc said quit, and about 10 years ago, and I quit. I quit actually before I went to prison in 2009.
Well, congratulations for being strong enough to, withstand, the physical addiction, because alcohol is physical. So you beat it, and I know it's not an easy fight for most people. So congratulations for beating, just saying I quit, because most people can't. They die.
I've always been that way. You know, when I set my mind to something, how you going to do it? I'm going to just do it. I'm going to make it happen. And even if I fail, well, I always look at like, well, tomorrow's another day. But if you're dead, or sick, especially, you probably known somebody. Well, the warehouse guy. You just get so sick. Well, I don't want to be like that. So I was lucky to be able to do that. That's one thing that prison helped. When I went to prison in 2009, I stopped smoking and drinking.
Can you tell me exactly what happened? And you know what? I'm going to let you know that I felt bad that I didn't call you. And I'm sorry I didn't call you, because I would have liked to have called you. But I was in my own nightmare or whatever, fighting, other forces, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm sorry I didn't call you, because I would have wished you,
I appreciate
good luck.
That.
You know what I mean?
I do appreciate that.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry I didn't call you.
No, don't let it bother you. You just said so right now. You felt like it. A lot of people, they just didn't know what to say. But what happened to me was real simple. The Bush administration had put together what they called a pornography task force, and their sole job was to and they had religious people on this board, and their sole job was to identify what they considered the worst, or in their opinion, obscene material that they can have. Obscenity is a legal term, which means it's beyond the pale, and therefore the First Amendment of freedom of speech does not apply to obscenity. I feel differently about it, of course, but they didn't, and I was convicted in 2008 for obscenity in the state of Florida. They made it very expensive for me, so they indicted me in the Central District of Florida, which is Tampa is part of that. It was a federal crime. So they got me, they got Rob Black, they went after Jeff Mike too, but he slipped out on a technicality. And so I was convicted.
So the three were bunched up together, or
no,
separately?
Okay. Yeah, separate trials, separate places. And
when did it start?
It had been going on. In 2008, I was indicted. 2008. Yeah.
So relatively fast.
So I went. I get the dates confused a little bit, but I basically 2009 was the trial, and I was convicted of sending obscene matter, what they called videos.
Same old story.
Across the same old story that they always busted people.
Entrapment.
Yeah. They ordered the videos. In fact, they ordered it from a separate company, a distributor called not JM, but
5-star or not 5-star?
No, it wasn't 5-star. Somebody else got hooked up with 5-star, and
but you didn't send it.
No, I didn't send it. It was sent by another fella, and he even admitted in court that he sent it when they asked him. So I don't know how the hell I got busted for it, but anyway, he sent to a post office box, which you never should. It's part of the old time business of the adult business. We don't send the post office box.
When was it sent? What year
In
exactly?
2008.
In 8. Okay.
Yeah, and they put together the case, and in 2008, I was indicted for shipping 10 videos. And to make it even harder, they put it in Florida, so I had to fly all the way across the country to defend myself. Very expensive. And I got indicted, and then the trial was about 2 weeks long. First, we had to choose jury, and then, go through the whole rigmarole. And finally, when we sat down, they were able to convince the jury, which wasn't that difficult, that what I sent was truly obscene. It didn't matter what it was. It could have been anybody's tapes. But when you're on a jury, put yourself in this position. You know nothing about porno, okay? Or maybe a little bit. Maybe you watch once in a while. You watch some spicy videos or something like that. And they got the jury, and they convinced this jury. Now, even if you felt that porn was okay, you didn't want to come out and say so in an open forum like a brightly lit courtroom. So of course, most of them went along with the deal.
I'm guessing, because I've seen things, been there, done that. The defense attorney made sure he handpicked the jurors and got rid of other jurors that were not correct for him.
Yeah, it was a back and forth game, right? So we couldn't get everybody that we wanted, but we got most that we wanted. But the point being is that you don't want to, as an individual, you don't want to come out and say, hey, porn's okay. Because then the usual questions always come up. Well, you're shooting, this is beyond the pale. This stuff is no good for anybody. It should be banned. They don't know about the First Amendment. They don't know that America stands for freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
And nobody's going to make anybody watch it.
And you're not forced to watch it. You have to actually buy it.
Want it.
In fact, yeah. One of the things that one of my lawyers said was not Clyde DeWitt. Now it was Jeffrey Douglas and a couple other guys. And they said, you, the jury, are the only people here that have been forced to watch these movies. No one else has. So I felt our chances were fairly good, but I was wrong. And they sentenced me to 46 months in prison. That's the way the federal system works. 46 months, not almost 4 years. That's just what they do. And so I knew with good behavior and stuff that I was probably going to be out maybe 2. And as it worked out, I was convicted of 20 counts because what they did was they took the videos and then they took the advertisements, the trailers, which were on my website. And so 10 movies, 10 trailers, 20 counts. And so it sounds like a lot, but it's complete horseshit. So I spent time in the lovely La Tuna Federal Correctional Institution in outside of Anthony, New Mexico, which is close by El Paso.
Is that a federal?
Yeah, federal, yeah. Now, in the federal system, there's several kinds of facilities. There's a camp, There's a low, a medium, and a high. Now, the high is where the real bad boys go. And the medium, you only killed 20 people. You didn't kill 50 people. If you kill,
Oh, shit.
yeah, the
Really? Oh.
yeah, the high is you do not ever want to go to a high. But generally speaking, if you're going to go to prison and you've committed a crime that's not of violence, then you're going to get scheduled to a camp or a low. As it turned out, I was a low, which is pretty much wide open. It's not bad. It's way better than the state system. People think going to a federal institution is bad. Going to a state institution is much worse.
I've heard.
Yeah, like if you were going to go to Pelican Bay, that's really, really bad. Mm-hmm. This wasn't bad at all. Latuna was a low. It had a camp attached to it. I got scheduled to the low because of the length of my sentence, and in 2 years I was done and walked out the door, and they never. And then I went to a halfway house, the Gateway Halfway House, which is right up in Echo Park. And I was at Gateway for, I think about 8 months to a year, I can't remember. And that was like a transfer period from you going into re-entering society, right? So I worked there, and then I had a separate job. I did various things. You had to work, and you had to show that you were actively looking for work. And I said, well, I have a job. And she said to me, well, your job put you in prison, so maybe you ought to think about another job. Mr. Little. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I would say to everybody out there, obey the law as best you can, because nobody wants to go to prison. It's a complete waste of time. It wasn't rough at all. It wasn't like roving gangs in there, and not at all. Everybody in a low just wants to get the fuck out of there. It's guys that, okay, they ripped off Medicaid. They got caught with 100 pounds of weed, which is still illegal in the federal system. Stupid, nonviolent crimes. Or the other way it works, say you're a murderer, you're a killer, you're really bad, and you get like 80 years. Well, if you don't get in any trouble, you start in a high, and then you go to a medium after 10 or 20 years. Then you go down to a low, and then you go to a camp, and then you go to your halfway house for another couple of years and get back into society. That's the way it works. So there were some bad boys in there, but they didn't want to fuck with nobody. It wasn't like you see on TV at all. It was just boring, waiting to get home. You have no cell phone, you have no computer, and you're just counting the days. I got me a new prison watch, and I set it to go off on when I was going to get out, and finally that the bell went off, and I walked out the door with my little box and went back to work.
Spiritually, during the trial, how were you feeling?
I felt we were going to win. A better plan would have been to plead guilty, and I probably wouldn't have gotten. Well, and I for sure wouldn't have gotten 46 months. If the feds indict you, the chances are above 90% that they're going to convict you. So what most people do, most smart people do, is they'll plead guilty, and then they'll get the minimum sentence they can. Admit you fucked up. Say you won't do it again, And I might have walked out of there with time served, with 2 months, 99 day, 1 day less than a year, which means effectively you're going to be in there for 6 months or so, or possibly a year. You're going to get out. You might not even serve any time, and you just take it, and you take the deal because that's the way it goes. And
so did it cost? How much money did it cost you?
oh, Christ, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
2, 3, 4?
No, I'd say 100,000
100,000
or more. Yeah, in lost business and lawyers' fees and everything and time lost. But I was able to keep my boys, my crew together for the most part. We had to let some guys go, of course, and I came back and I applied what the guys told me. The postal inspectors that actually did the investigation. I listened to what they told me. Listen, if you do this, we're coming back. If you don't do this, you'll never see us again, and you don't ever want to see us again. And so I applied that knowledge to what I'm doing. The videos, you wouldn't know the difference between, but let's just say I'm playing ball. I have to.
So you went back to shooting right away, or it took time after you got out of prison?
No, because as soon as I got into the halfway house, I started
Went back to work.
working again.
Back to making Max Hardcore?
No, I couldn't make any movies right away. I could, but there's no point in that. I just wanted to lay low and be cool, because that would be like rubbing their faces in it. One thing you do not ever want to do. See, these guys got all the money.
And power, yeah.
And then power, so I'm not going to rub their face in it. That's it. They won, I lost. That's the way it is.
Yeah,
and if I don't want to lose again, I'm going to play ball with them.
You're tough. I mean, you are tough, because to me it sounds like spiritually you dealt with it, and that's a tough person.
Yeah, I didn't. I feel bad about losing the thing, but I look at it this way: I gained a lot by quitting drinking and quitting smoking and looking at things differently. That time that I had out in New Mexico, we had it was a beautiful place. This Latuna was old. It was like from the 50s, and you could work out all the time. And not the 50s, I'm talking the 30s here. And I just said, okay, you're in a bad situation, but the things could be much, much worse. And I could be ill. I could be broke. I could be a lot of things, but I'm here. I made the best of it. When you seen me, we were all, in the pictures there, we were always smiling. There's no sense in being angry or remorse. Resentful, good word for it, about it. It is what it is, and you have to just deal with it, and I did, and I came through a stronger person. That's the way I look at it.
So when you were in there, you were working out, and it was nice enough inside that you didn't think about it every day. You just did your time, and your brain was okay. I mean, your thought process.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was in good shape. Naturally anxious to get out, like any normal human being would. But you couldn't. And even if you did, even if you could, it would be bad for you to do it. So you're just cool. You're not. I got along with everybody. The Mexicans would give me free burritos because I did work for them. Everything is on the barter system down there. And so I made friends that I never would have made outside the business. These were just like average people caught up in shit that they shouldn't have been doing.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
And sometimes you want to make a living.
Yeah.
Better than, the factory.
Yeah.
Right?
Or no work at all.
Or no work at all. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, so I don't have any regrets. I just look forward to tomorrow,